Okay, today we're going to discuss myofascia. I'm going to give a brief discourse on it. I think this is necessary so that people understand, first and foremost, why it is very difficult to learn the PNF Tech system from videos. One of the problems that we have with using videos is that you don't get the interaction that the classes give. We have a Thursday morning class that's been free. I've been teaching it for 2 years, and people come in basically and work with each other. One of the things that you'll find people always do is they check each other, their stances, not only body mechanics, but also the softness of the body, which is very important. You have to keep a very soft core. You can't get that from standard massage techniques, and you can't get that from a video. Essentially, you have to learn that and then practice it with other people. So the practicing is very important. There's a lot of Qigong involved. So I don't anticipate this is going to become a webinar or a video series. I think basically the videos will help people. They're good for a reference point. But you need somebody to check and see that you're keeping your inner core soft. And that can't be taught this way. But there are a few things about the myofascia that people should know. The Chinese have known about it for 4,000 years. And you'll find that their studies of myofascia show up most commonly in Tai Chi and Qigong practices. Very common exercises in China, and people are starting to gravitate towards them here. The reason it's important is that Western society has said that we look at massage in a whole different way, and we never have made the connection between massage and Tai Chi, but the fact is it's a very strong connection, and the myofascia is the reason. So when you understand the components of the myofascia, being collagens, you understand that there are many grades of collagens. There are also many grades of myofascia. Everything in the body contains myofascia. It's part of every part of the body. It's in the bones. It's in the bone marrow. It's in the internal organs. It surrounds the internal organs. It's in the muscles. It surrounds the muscles. Anywhere you can think of, you're going to have myofascia. And there are many grades of the fascia, and they're not consistent. They're constantly changing. Basically, the reason that's important is because you have to test a client's body to find out where they're stiff and what is causing the stiffness or the pain or the adhesions, whatever it is that you're trying to relieve. That takes a lot of palpation and a lot of understanding your own fascia. Now here's the thing. The myofascia has 2,000 pounds of tensile strength, and it also has a 25-year memory. So when it gets traumatized and it freezes, it can hold that memory for 25 years. And that's a big problem for massage therapists, because learning how to break that up takes time. And basically, as I said, you have to learn how to control your own fascia before you actually control somebody else's. A Tai Chi master will actually expand his fascia, fill his body with energy, and push the fascia into an opponent's fascia and motivate that person's body. He can actually move an opponent by pushing into his fascia, by expanding his own fascia. And what that does is it pushes energy. You're actually moving an opponent with your own energy by moving his energy. So it's hard to understand, but the myofascia conducts energy in the human body, and it reacts very differently from muscles. And it also gets very stiff, and it will cause muscles to get stiff. So one of the things that my teacher always told me while I was learning about this stuff is I'm using too much muscle, and you have to learn how to use a fascia. So there's a little known aspect of Tai Chi that is actually one of the goals of Tai Chi, and that's that you can learn to move the entire body from the myofascia and use the sarcomeres in the muscles much less. In other words, you won't be burning as much adenosine triphosphate, ATP. Okay, you won't need as much energy if you're actually conducting the muscles, activating them from the myofascia inside them. And another little known fact is that the tendons are made of myofascia. And so there's no muscle fiber in the tendons. If you loosen the tendons, you can actually get the muscles to work better. So there's much less ATP used up when you're actually using the nerves to activate the myofascia. You can move your entire body that way. And what I always say in the class is I'm always trying to teach people how to expand into their clients. It's the same thing as a Tai Chi master expanding into his opponent to move his opponent. Essentially, you expand the joints and expand the myofascia in the joints, which protects the joints. All right, it gives your arm, it gives your limbs much more mass without increasing muscle at all, but your arms actually get heavier, and the fascia will increase in all the joints and cushion them. And so when you press into a client and you start expanding bodily, it makes a huge difference over just pushing in and cramping all your joints up. Compressing the joints is not a good thing. Now, the issue that I have here is that, unfortunately, massage therapists are judged according to criteria from other fields, particularly the medical field. And where this becomes a problem is when you're trying very hard to legitimize the field of massage therapy, but you have to work under somebody else's criteria. You end up trying to be more like that other field. In other words, we try to do things along the lines of what a doctor might expect us to do. Well, if you're using the myofascia, if that's really the crux of what massage therapy is about, that shouldn't be, all right? Basically, we should be working from a whole different premise. The way we're actually licensed and the way we're basically judged should be from what we know about the myofascia and how well we can use the myofascia. Because if you can release a client's myofascia, you can get them out of pain 100 times faster than any other way. And how to release a myofascia is not from the myofascial release techniques that they use and that they teach in most massage schools. It's basically controlling your myofascia to control their myofascia. It's a different premise here. Okay, so with that, let me just say that overall, my training has been 29 years in Qigong and about 13 years in Tai Chi, going on 13 years. With that, I have a very good background in how the myofascia works from the Chinese perspective. Western science has just caught up. They're just starting to catch up, and they're realizing everything that we've learned from the Chinese is true. It is absolutely fact. This is all pertinent to massage, and to make that work, basically it takes a lot of practice, as I said. So I'm going to ask somebody to come over here, and what I'm going to do is demonstrate what I mean by expanding into a client. It's very different from standard techniques. Let's get your chair over here. And as far as how this applies on a table, it would be the same thing, except that you have less capability from a table. You prefer chairs. So I want you to straddle the chair and face out this way. In class, we just use regular chairs because that's all that's needed. Now, I worked on Ann earlier, so she's already pretty soft. But this is what most massage therapists do in a move like Sun and Moon. They'll just push in and compress all their joints. Now, in our classes, what we do is we expand the joints. We basically expand from here. And what I'm doing is I'm creating structure in my body. And this allows me, I'm still soft, my body's soft, I'm not using muscle, I'm basically just expanding the myofascia in my joints and pushing into her body, and her myofascia is already loose. It becomes looser the more I do this. So all my joints are open, and I run much less risk of actually damaging them. When I'm working with my hands, I'll hollow my palm, and that'll force the center of my hand, the back of my hand, to go up, and it closes my fingers in a way that you can't do if you're using muscles. Massage therapists are notorious for hurting their thumbs. You could even not use a thumb and just open up the back of the palm, the back of the hand, and get this effect. It's actually much more powerful. It's motivating her fascia, and it's protecting my joints. Now, of course, there's way more to the system, but we just wanted to give you an idea of what it is that these classes are about. The videos should help, but you can't get the whole system from the videos. Thank you very much.